Since 2008, Deecee Books has a prominent presence in the Sharjah International Book Fair, giving voice for the Indian authors in UAE. Today, we have the CEO of Deecee Books, Mr. Ravi Deecee.
I grew up in a publishing ecosystem actually. I mean, my dad, my father, so he has built major public libraries, major cooperatives for the writers. He has been part of the library movement in part of India called Kerala, where he was actually led a big movement for establishing about 8,000 libraries within a small, tiny state like Kerala. So I grew up with books when I was a kid. I grew up with authors. Even after my higher education, I decided to be back in the publishing fraternity, though our company was small. But over the years it grew, and now it's a thing. I mean, so reading was part of my life when I was in school, and post that also. So that is probably the reason I decided to stay in the family business.
50 years, strong 50 years for Deecee Books. Now there's another aspect, as you can see, readers keep changing now and then, right? And right now, with the growing popularity of Western literature among young readers, how does Deecee Books ensure that regional stories and authors resonate with today's youth and capture their interest?
If you look at the January 2024 to June 2024 period, the most sold book among the youth is a Malayalam book. It's called The Ram Care of Anandi. So that book has sold 300,000 copies in 6 months, whereas the next best book published in English has sold only 80,000 copies. So that's what we work on, you know. I mean, there used to be a time whatever comes from the West is actually called the best. I mean, that days are gone actually. If you ask me, the last 2 decades has been for the Middle East, the entire credit goes to the ruler of Sharjah, because from just feeling the book, smelling the book, a whole generation has become passionate in reading, or reading at least a book or two. So hats off to the kind of contributions in this.
As an aspiring writer, if I were to come and give you a manuscript, what are some of the attributes you would look in before choosing one?
As a publisher, the biggest challenge is to select a book actually, and it is the selection process. It is individual dependent actually. I mean, we may have a specialist in poetry, we may have a specialist in fiction, on short story or novella, or for non-fiction. What happens is actually thousands of manuscripts, either as a synopsis or a full manuscript comes, and decisions are not easy actually. But the biggest thing is keep writing is what I say. Second is actually if you can your synopsis or your manuscript passes the first stage of if it interests the editor in the first go, that is the process actually. I mean, you can write to any publisher and they will probably look at your synopsis, probably look at the first few pages or the chapters, be it a chapter from the middle or from the beginning, or at the end. If you send it to them, they feel the theme is different, the writing style is good, or it could be many attributes to it. If that is the case, they will immediately grab it. I mean, one thing I can say is actually, over the years, some of the best-selling authors we publish have been our debut writers. So finding a new author is the biggest challenge a publisher faces, whereas for a writer, that's again a big challenge. Finding a publisher, getting to the publisher book is not an easy task.
Lastly, you've been saying, like I had told, since 2008 you've been here. So how does it feel to be back to another Sharjah International Book Fair again?
I mean, from 2008, when we had one single stall at the fair, and that is mainly Arabic, I doubt other than a Jason Ma, there was any other, and University Bookshop actually, there was anybody else here, and they were mainly of displaying or exhibiting the books. And from one stall, we are now like 40 stalls. We are the largest number of stalls here by any publisher or the bookseller in Sharjah, at the Sharjah Book Fair. I feel that, I mean, we have grown because of Sharjah International Book Fair also, because the book fair has become more international, more cosmopolitan, more trendy, and probably one of the largest book fairs in the world for the consumers, actually, for the retailers. I mean, you boast about a lot of other book fairs. Most of them are B2B, actually, for the business. But this is something which is rocking, which vibes with the youngsters, actually, for the retail.
Thank you for joining us. For more in-depth interviews and literary discussions, make sure to subscribe to Dubai TV.